2012, and we're having a double header today. The first part will be by Dell. He's going to be showing us some top speed kind of thing with Windev. So that's really cool. So I am going to move this and give it over to you. Okay, Ben?
Okay, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. One of the things which I'm very heavily involved in currently is converting from Clarion programming to Windev programming. And in our instance, our Clarion programming consists of using TPS files. So I need a way to get my TPS data into Windev, and we are using the HyperSQL database in Windev. Okay, fortunately for us, Soft Velocity has got an ODBC driver which we can use. Now, I struggled quite a bit to get this working, and I thought that I will quickly show how to do the ODBC driver, especially on a Windows 7 64-bit environment, and hopefully help somebody else easier do the conversion of their TPS files to Windev or to anywhere else. Okay. One of the most important things to do is if you go and you're in a 64-bit environment and you try and run your ODBC data sources, what you see coming up here is a 64-bit ODBC manager. Okay, it does show you the 32-bit setups, ODBC setups as well, but it's actually a 64-bit manager. What you need to do when you set up your ODBC for especially Topspeed is you need to run the 32-bit ODBC manager, which is sitting in your Windows sys while 64 location. So what we will do,
Ben, could you grab that link,
yes,
that link, and put it on the Skype? So because it's kind of small for us to see. Oh,
okay,
by the
I
way,
will do
everybody,
that.
yeah, if you do full screen, you can see it much better.
So what we are looking at is, there's a link, I've just posted it to Skype, that link there. That is your ODBC manager, which you use once you've installed your Topspeed ODBC drivers. Now, the ODBC drivers for Topspeed, I think they are version 5.0. Okay, so when you open up the ODBC manager and you say add, at the bottom you will find two entries for Topspeed. One is the read only and one is the normal read write entry for the ODBC DLLs. Okay, so let's take that one, and I'm going to go and create a new ODBC source, and I'm going to call it then Webinar and TPS source for Webinar. And then I'm going to set up my database, which is a directory in this instance, and I'm going to use a database which is a client's data sitting on a IP driver data share. Okay, and the extensions of the files are TPS files. There's no passwords on them. I'm not going to use an environmental file, so it will default to whatever my system is set up. And then very important, in TPS you have two different file types, either a date and a time or a long, which can be used as a date and a time. Now in my instance I always name all my date fields start date or end date or beginning date or progress date or something to that effect. So what I can do here is I can say anything with a date in it will be transferred as a date format to any client application connecting to this Topspeed ODBC interface. The same with time. I can do it as a time. So any word having the date or the time in it. Now I can follow that up. Let's say I've got another one which is opening. Okay, and it represents a date. Then I use a pipe character and I go opening. And wherever the name opening, the field name opening happens, the format will be presented as a date format. Okay, so that way you can add 1, 2, 10, 20, 30 field names which should be presented as date or time fields. Okay, and that is setting up the ODBC data source. Now, if we go to let's see if we've got a clean copy of Windev here. Okay, I'm just gonna go and create a new project here quickly. My webinar project. Okay, and we will go and create a new analysis on that. And let's do a hyperclassic. Okay, now I'm saying here that I'm going to create a new data file, and I'm going to use a data file of an existing database. I go to other, and I'm going to access the data in its current format, and I'm going to select an ODBC data source. And interesting, because that was the first data source in the ODBC, it's actually picked up my ODBC data source. I click on next, and it gives me all the tables which is in that directory as a data source from which I could work.
OMG.
So let's quickly look at one. Let's look at, I'm going to look at, that's not too big. Let me look at, yeah, that's not too big, and it should have a date field in it. And while I'm at this position, I can actually go and preview the data. Now obviously this is an example demo, so more than likely it's not going to work. Okay, for some reason it's not working, but I'm importing that. Okay, so there is my TPS format inside a Windev analysis. Okay, now obviously there is no there's no keys or anything attached to this. It's just the format of the tables. Now, theoretically speaking, I do not need to do this single step of importing this table format into my analysis to be able to transfer my data. But I'll show you now why I'm doing it, and it's only for my own ease. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually now go and create a new table, and I'm going to say my test table, and I'm going to give it a if we go there, my test table, I'm going to give it a code, and okay, maybe I don't want to name it code. I will give it a scheme code, and that will be 4 characters long, and a, come on, in this file, and I will create a entry date, and that would be a date. Okay, so there's my table which I'm going to be filling from here, and I've got a scheme code which I'm going to be filling, and I should have something called a entry date somewhere along here. We'll get to that. Okay. I close my analysis, and now I'm going to go and define a new window. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and run the code to actually do the conversion. Okay, and just get some of this other stuff out of the way. Yeah, we go. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create my conversion data there. Now obviously I need to create a data source. Okay, these messages here is coming from the SCM system. Okay, so I need to go and create a data source. I'm just opening up a I'm gonna do a and I'm not gonna code all of it. I'm gonna copy and paste, and the code for creating a data source is very similar to any other code you're gonna do, but I'm gonna create a data source here, and my data source was Ben Webinar. That is my data source. So I've got a SQL connection called Ben Webinar, which is an ODBC data source, and I create a integer to hold that. Then I say if my connection is successful, then I'm going to do something, else I'm going to just display that the connection was not successful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and create a return variable. I'm going to do a select from, and this is where my stored procedure is coming into effect. Hold on, I think I'm busy with the wrong version of the open Windev code here. Okay, let's open Windev again. And we go to the recent projects. Seems I actually accidentally closed my project. Code, we will go and create analysis here. We're not going to create a table there, so we go and create a new table there, and we're going to call it my table. It's the okay, my table is got a scheme code, and it's 4 characters, and entry date, and it's a date. And let's actually save everything now. And then I go and I import my ODBC, and I go to other, and I will not convert them. I will go to ODBC, and there's my Ben Webinar, and I will import the master, and here we go, and I will save that, close that. Okay, and I am back in my project, and I will go and create my little button, and behind my button I will put some code. And I will save that, and there's my webinar. Okay. There's my table which I've imported. Now, the reason why I said I'm going to use import this table is when I want to convert my data, I'm going to have a little bit of an issue there. So I'm going to do an import, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to actually import my stuff into a table and then work from the table. So I'm going to import as many as, let's say, 100 columns at a time. So I create enough columns in my table to handle all the stuff that's going to be imported. My code is, I create my connection to my ODBC data source. If my connection is correct, I'm going to add the data from the ODBC source into my table, and we will get to that now. So my SQL code is going to be select, and in this instance I'm just doing a select star because I want each and every table that every field that should be coming in. IP scheme master. Okay, and I name my query, and then I say my query is added to the SQL table, and that should be our code for importing the data into this table. Okay, so let's quickly go and run that, and that is my first table. Import that, and there is all my TPS data sitting inside my table inside Windev. Now let's quickly go and make sure that that's actually coming from here. IP scheme master, and if we go and run our little TopScan utility and we go back to our program, Aubrey Orange, yes, so that looks like the same information. Now if we try and find a date and a time field, there we go. We see that our dates has imported correctly, and if we go to our Topspeed utility, because the dates are always an issue. The dates are always an issue.
I think it was entry fee date.
Yes, something to that effect. Let's quickly have a look. Count type. Now I would have chosen the one table that doesn't have anything in it.
Didn't it have a date toward the end?
Be...
No, there's an entry fee. Oh, maybe you didn't. The last table you had that you picked had it.
Yeah. I don't know where that Windev session went to. It just disappeared on me. Any case, let's quickly. So you see the actual thrust of this little webinar is to actually show how easy it is to get TPS data into Windev. So that is the whole code. That is the whole code of getting your data into Windev. Now, I've been doing this.
Can you snip that into the Skype if you don't mind sharing?
I don't mind sharing. What I've done is I've actually created a connection on my machine which connects to a server which is only available via a VPN connection, and I've brought 6.5 million records in over that connection, and it's taken me about 20 minutes. And we've got notoriously slow connections in South Africa.
So that's impressive.
For me, it's very impressive, yes.
Very good.
Okay, and I've Skyped the stuff. There we go.
Great, thank you.
And that is bringing in TPS tables into Windev. And like I said, okay, so one of the things which I'm doing is the last piece of code where I'm actually showing the format here is I'm going to do this. I say for each row of the table, okay, I'm going to do this. Now I want to determine where the hell does my data come from, because I've done a star select star here. So then I can see, okay, this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this table column number 1 is where that comes from. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's say there's the entry date, and that would be column number 37. Ah man, come on. Column number 37. And then I do a h-add. And that's the only reason why I actually imported the original table scheme, is so I can sit and count the column numbers and get the actual correct data coming in here. And after that I can just go and delete my thing. I don't need it anymore. Go back there.
Easy come, easy go, huh?
Run it. There we go. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to go start the second webinar shortly. Thank you again, Ben, and I'm glad the South African internet connection came through today.